Hey everyone, and welcome to Commander Cookout on YouTube. Top 5 in 5. This time, the top 5 pickups from Innistrad from Crimson Vow.
Ooh, the Crimson V. Before we get to it though, big thank you to FusionGamingOnline.com, your source for all your Crimson Vow needs this week. Yeah, it's been a while. We've tested, we've played, we've done the Crimson Vow thing. If you want to pick up any cards from Crimson Vow, you can use CCO Spring promo code to get 5% off at Fusion.
We actually took our time to do some research and some play testing, so you know that this is the definite best list of the definite best cards that you probably don't own, but should.
With all of our pickups, we do want to make sure that we mention that we know what all the best cards in the set are, just like you. These are additional cards that you might have overlooked that we think are good for an EDH deck builder's arsenal. Honorable mention.
Toxrill.
I think because what it represents in the greater community, right?
Yeah, it's another one of those high power, just scary ass commanders, but you can kind of build it janky. You can rule 0 it to let people know that you're just doing some like regular Toxrill stuff, but he's always going to be on his own. He also represents, I think, a really cool trend in commanders where they cost them at 7 and then they just let them do whatever they want. Yeah! Number 5!
Olivia's Attendance.
Olivia's Attendance is a 6/6 for 6 vampire that whenever it does damage to anything, you're going to make 6, or that many, probably 6, blood counters. And while blood counters aren't amazing, they're pretty good, and to get 6 of anything at one time is pretty cool. And you can cash them in for cards. If you have something that deals damage and artifacts come into play, you have 6 of them come into play every time she attacks. And she protects herself by being a little pingy removal spell that still makes blood counters. She does a lot more work than people give her credit for, and I think it's worth picking one up. Number 4!
I think, again, for what it represents, like the honorable mention, like number 5 representing blood tokens, this represents clue tokens.
Investigator's Journal. Very cool. It itself is a clue. It acts as a reusable clue, and once it's out of counters, you can cash it in to draw another card like it's a clue. It's really neat. It's like a token on a token with a bunch of tokens on it.
Tokeception.
Yes. Number 3! Big favorite of mine. I love this card. It's Dollhouse of Horrors. It's got cool art, it's got a cool name, and check out the ability. It lets you recycle your creatures in Commander, which is always a really powerful thing. It lets you get your Commander back, once per time it dies, hypothetically, without paying Commander tax on it. And it turns all the creatures that it makes into lords for all the other creatures that it makes.
My favorite part about this card is how expensive that kitchen would cost in real life.
Oh yeah, it would be several dollars. Also, works really good with our honorable mention of the day, Toxrill, because after they kill Toxrill, you just bring it back for 1. And 1, as we all know, less than 9. Number 2. Group of 5 cards in the Cemetery Cycle.
You cheated. The Cemetery Cycle, the whole cycle?
The whole cycle. Some are better than others, with the red one being probably the pinnacle of how good they can be. But they're kind of build your own cards. You come in, you nuke something out of a graveyard that you didn't want your opponent to have, and then they give you some kind of benefit throughout the rest of the game as long as the creature remains in play, either making your spells cost less or doing damage to your opponents and yourself whenever they play something.
I think those are good cards because they nuke something out of a graveyard. They fit. They'll find a spot in some strategy, and you've got 5 to pick from. Okay, and the number 1 pickup that isn't among the best cards in the set that you already have or already want.
By invitation only.
And this card was touted as being like, oh, well, it doesn't get everything, or it's not a hard sweeper. It's a flexible sweeper, right?
And it's a sacrifice, so it gets to the indestructible creatures. Ooh. And let's be really honest. How many times do all of your opponents have more than 13 creatures? Where if you kill 13 of their more than 13 creatures, they're still going to be able to get you.
Yeah, if you have more than 13 creatures, probably you have like 50 creatures.
Yeah, you've probably already won.
And if I have more than 13 creatures, then it's not a big deal that I have to get rid of 13 to clear the path for everybody.
That's
Yay!
right.
Okay, those are our top 5 in 5 Innistrad Crimson V pickups. Head on over to FusionGamingOnline.com. Use CCO Spring promo code to get 5% off your entire order. And big thank you to all the Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/CCO Podcast. If you want to become part of the community, part of the Discord server, help shape our content, that's where to do it. Final big thank you goes out to editor Tyler. He makes all these videos look as good as they possibly can with this all going on. If you want to see a list of Tyler and the rest of our biggest supporters, you can do it right now.